Welcome back to News 3 Today. Long days and late nights. There's no wet rest, that is, for the weary, especially for journalists during this election season. WSAV convention correspondent Levine is the lone local journalist who had the privilege of covering both the RNC in July and the DNC just last week. He's exhausted. He joins us now with more on his experience. Thank you so much for being here today. Are you rested?
I'm rested.
Okay,
I slept all day Sunday.
Okay, so we were talking about how you got into doing this. This started when you were a teenager.
Mm-hmm. Yes, actually, I worked at CBS. I did work at CBS News as a messenger when I was in high school and kind of caught the bug then.
Yeah.
Because I was around folks like Walter Cronkite, Dan Rather, et cetera, and local personalities. So the bug kind of bit me, and the rest is kind of history.
So look at you name dropping. Okay, so but back in the 80s, you started covering the DNC and the RNC.
So back in 1980, I was stationed at Fort Hamilton, Brooklyn, and had an opportunity to support the Democratic Convention in New York City, which was the Carter Convention at that time. So honestly, that's when the convention bug actually hit me, because it was very exciting to be there to see, you know, the politicians, the celebrities, and the local folks. And yeah, after that, I just kind of got hooked and continued on. And when I got out the military.
So we're taking a look at some of the pictures that you actually took. That's President Jimmy Carter getting his makeup done. We saw a picture of President Barack Obama. Gerald Ford.
Yes, I go back as far as Gerald Ford when I was in high school.
Ronald
Reagan. I was actually in the military at that time, and he came to visit New York City.
Now this is a picture. You wouldn't imagine the three of them together. Jesse Jackson, Michael Jackson, and Al Sharpton.
Right.
This picture should have been in the magazine.
That's one of my favorite pictures.
Really, yeah.
Yes,
great. And you took that?
Yes, yes. That was at Hunter Army Airfield when he visited Savannah.
Yeah, President Joe Biden. And there you are.
That was at the White House.
A younger Louis Levine.
Right, that was at the stakeout at the White House.
Hillary Clinton.
Yes, that was 2016 when she was nominated.
Wow. Aretha Franklin and President Bush.
Yes, East Room of the White House.
So you're just like within an arm's reach away, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yes, that was during the debates in South Carolina.
And of course, the late, great John Lewis.
Right, I had the honor of interviewing him, which was a highlight of my career, honestly.
Yeah. President Biden, President Clinton once again. So let's talk about what you have there in your hand, because those are very valuable, especially to people in the press. Right,
so these are passes that they issue you through the Secret Service. You have to get credentialed through them, and then what's called the Senate Press Gallery. They have different galleries, which is photo, radio, TV, and I applied for the radio television segment. And they issue you these passes, and without these passes, you literally do not get anywhere near the convention hall.
Because you have to be vetted before you even go into these spaces.
Right, you get vetted by the Secret Service, so you have to go through a background investigation. I'm assuming that's what they do, and then you cross your fingers that nothing comes up that you're not aware of. Yeah. And you get an email that you've been credentialed for, in this case, the WSAV, and voila, I was in.
See, we could take all of the time on the interview on this part alone, but let's get to the DNC and the RNC. So last week was very, very busy for you. You had a chance to talk to some local heavy hitters, some local, state, and national heavy hitters.
Yes. So I arrived at the convention hall at 8 o'clock in the morning because parking was horrendous down in that area.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to find parking near it. Anyway, so I would sit there all day until the activities would start sparking up in the evening, and I would watch the entertainment segment rehearsals, such as Stevie Wonder, Patti LaBelle, et cetera, et cetera. And then in the evening, I would go into full reporter mode and start seeking out my interviews with local delegates, Senator Warnock, which I was lucky to grab because his time was very limited, and folks from the Low Country, because I wanted to give a voice to everybody, and I thought that was important. I thought it was important for me to be there to give the voice of the delegates who took the expense, the time, and the travels to go to Chicago and Milwaukee and have their voices heard
Yeah,
during
so
this time.
aside from the speeches, one big moment, a highlight for a lot of folks watching, was Georgia's roll call. You were there for that.
I was there for that, yes. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to an angle where I was able to photograph, videotape it, because the production company that was running the pool cameras for the convention had to have that spot. So they kind of relegated me to the other side. But I was able to get video of them giving the roll call, such as Senator Warnock and the mayor
Van
of
Johnson.
Savannah,
Yes.
Van Johnson.
Okay, so we can't let you go without talking about the RNC on the other end. That was earlier this year in July.
Right. So I saw familiar faces there that I hadn't seen for years.
Yeah.
Jack Kingston was there.
Yeah, Jack Kingston.
And he recognized me when I passed by. And he stopped me.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, Jack, you're here. So I said, let me grab an interview with you. And he gave me some nice sound. And then from there, local delegates from the Low Country, Savannah area were kind enough to give me their reasons for being there, why it was important, and what their takeaway from it was.
Yeah, and we appreciate your work so very much, especially on this side of the camera. You're not used to being on this side of the camera.
No, I'm not. I'm kind of nervous.
We appreciate your work so much. Thank you so much for joining us. We could talk on and on and on, but Jeffrey is wrapping us right now.
Yes.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you.
Stay with us. You're watching News 3 Today at 11. We'll be right back.